right, y'all. So welcome back to our newest episode of the Soda Citizen podcast. I guess it could also be like a video series, but whatever. We'll talk about that later. I'm your co-host, because this is a real host, Mary Lane Sloan, Brad Allen, right? Yep. So the Art of Real Estate team at EXP, that has changed from the Art of Real Estate. You can watch other episodes about that. But we've got somebody really cool here, somebody that knows what's going on, somebody immersed into the arts of Columbia, and that's why we wanted to have Nate Terracio here, who is a double alumnus from USC.
Yes. How many credits do you have?
Too many?
Too many.
But he is the director of the Koger Center for the Arts, which is I think it's our premier venue, right, for the Arts Center.
Yep.
Well, it is, actually. I think it's in the name. But yeah, so we're going to just dive in and kind of rabbit trail, and you're going to tell us why Wicked came back in 6 years. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
We already had that
it was
conversation.
so good.
It was
so good.
Did you go to Beetlejuice?
I didn't make it to Beetlejuice, and I regret it because the person I gave my tickets to said it was like her favorite show the whole season. She said it was really good.
Yeah, I watched it on Sunday.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
You have special seats. Where do you watch it from?
I tend to watch things from the grand tier,
Okay.
except if it's the symphony, and then I watch it from the balcony.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the balcony is the best place for symphony.
Well, and I like with these big Broadway shows because a lot of them have, really big, impressive sets.
Yeah.
And I kind of like to be up so I can
Sure.
see the whole stage.
Right. You feel like you're missing something if you sit too close because you're sort of low and you're looking up. And then you can sort of like peek into the orchestra pit and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to sit upstairs.
Yeah,
if at all possible.
It's going to be lonely in the orchestra pit, by the way. I went to whatever one recently. I'm just like, you can't see them, and they're all down there playing. Like
That's the point.
I think they love that.
They love that.
Who knows what they're wearing down there?
Right. Yeah.
Like the symphony has to put on the tuxedo or the gown, but the musicians in Broadway can wear kind of whatever they
their
like.
Bedroom shoes, yeah. Right.
So one thing I want to make sure we talk about is y'all just got a really cool grant from the Levitt Foundation.
Yes.
For free outdoor concerts.
Yes.
And this is like, I think we're outdoor concert central in Columbia now. I feel like there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, I think it's really exploded.
Yeah.
The Levitt Foundation has this goal of putting as many sort of outdoor concerts across the country as possible. They seem to have been mandated to spend the money that they've got hanging around, and their goal is to get rid of it all by like 2040. So it seems like every year they like double the number of cities they're funding. They used to take the money and build permanent amphitheaters, and then fund sort of year-round concerts. So they would do 50 concerts, one a week for 50 weeks at these amphitheaters. But the cost of building and running the amphitheater, they realized that if they took that, they could fund, instead of 50 concerts at one location, they could fund 50 locations with the same amount of money. So they've really started to step up and try to get the idea of concert series, and not just like a one-off, not just, we're going to do a festival and have a weekend, but something that is recurring so that you can build a community. It gives people the opportunity to sort of meet their neighbors. I think the really cool thing about the concept that they have in mind is that they insist that you don't have seating, so they don't put it in amphitheaters where there's seating. They want the audience to sit on the lawn because it sort of forces interaction. And the idea is to create an atmosphere that sort of like, Soda City, farmer's market atmosphere of you go in order to like get something to eat and check out the vendors, and the kids can run around and you can bring your dog.
So it's going to be on like the front lawn.
So it's on the front lawn of the Koger Center. Okay. And while the focus is the music, I think the goal is to convince people to come for the atmosphere. Yeah. Because if I tell you the name of the band and you go, I don't know them, then you go, well, I don't want to see that.
Sure.
But the hope is that you say, oh, this is fun. Yeah. I will come, because our goal is to have every band be great.
Yeah. So the premise is you won't know who's performing.
No, we announce.
Oh, okay.
But if I just try to sell you that Sunny War is coming on Saturday and you don't know who Sunny War is, then like you're out.
Yeah,
but if I tell you, hey, there's this really great atmosphere, this really great event, bring the family, bring the dog, bring all of it, come have fun, meet your neighbors, bring friends, pack a picnic. Yeah. Then you suddenly go, this Sunny War.
The atmosphere, I guess.
Right. This Sunny War is good, right? Because it is so hard to keep up with music.
Oh, right.
I mean,
yes.
The great thing about streaming is that it lets people reach everyone.
Everyone, right.
But at the same time, we don't have that atmosphere when we were growing up.
Yeah.
You had to wait for the single.
I'm going to lump us all together in age here. Some of us are younger than others.
Right.
We all listen to the radio.
Yeah.
So like you didn't get to choose so much as
Right.
you were told what to listen to.
Sure.
But in today's day and age, everyone gets to choose. So one of the goals is to make sure that we do a wide variety of genres. So we want to make sure that people get a little taste of a bunch of different things, because I feel that when you see things live, you may think I don't want to listen to jazz, but if I take you to a jazz band live, you will go, oh well, this is fun.
Great, right.
Why don't I listen to this at home? And the answer is, well, it is more fun to listen to it live.
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely.
So, do you get to pick the acts, or is that tied to the grant?
Well, they have some stipulations, and they sort of have to approve, but they don't suggest anything. So you get to curate.
All right.
And then they sort of say, yes, we like that. This fits the mission.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
And then will there be like a stage?
So there's a stage. We built a permanent
Raised
stage
area,
in front of the building just post-COVID. During COVID, we built a temporary stage in front of the building so that School of Music and some community groups could perform outside. And it was very successful. And then when we took the raised temporary stage away, people were like, well, what are we going to do now?
Right,
So we built a permanent structure outside, and now we're just taking advantage of having it there. Do these, the grant funds 10 weeks of concerts. So
Is that already scheduled? And
we started this past Saturday.
Okay.
Should have known that.
I was at high water.
And we're going to, our goal for the next 3 years, because it's a 3-year grant.
Oh, great.
And which I think is another thing that the foundation does really well is instead of saying, here's 1 year's worth of money, good luck to you.
Yeah, because then you build up that momentum.
Correct.
Right.
Their point to us is it will start small, it will get big. You just have to like give it time. You have to build word of mouth. You have to build a community. But by the end of 3 years, you should really see a change from the first one to the last one. And then it does seem like they are funding a lot of communities over and over. So,
good.
So hopefully, if we do a good job, we'll get another 3 years of funding and so on and so forth.
You mentioned making it like a feel, right? Like the Soda City market, like if it's an event. So what other than music are we having? Or have you gotten that far yet?
So for the first one, which was really a jumping off point, you got to you start somewhere, and everyone was real nervous about it. And I was like, hey, listen, we will do one, and then we will sit down and say what worked, what didn't work. Like it does. The first one does not have to be perfect.
It's like making waffles.
We've got 30 of them to come. So we don't want it. We don't want to be too cavalier about it, but you also don't have to like stress and say like, how do we make this perfect? Because like you got to listen to the community, see what works, what doesn't work. For like the musicians, we were under a time crunch. So the first year we booked all the bands, but we've got a bunch of partners. And so our goal is that for years 2 and 3, we're going to sit down with partners, people in the community to say like, who would you like to hear? So that we can try to book things that speak to Columbia. Similarly, we started with offering our partners the opportunity to come out and meet the audience. This works, hopefully, both ways. Our partners help generate audience. They market for us, but also it's an opportunity for them to reach arts. People who are passionate about the arts. So, for example, the Vista Guild is a partner. It was the middle of Artista Vista. So they came out and had people make lanterns for the Lantern Parade. That was that evening. So you have all these people like making lanterns and then going, oh, I could just walk on over and be a part of the Lantern Parade. So that's an example of like synergy. And City Columbia is a partner. They came out with their, photo booth to try to like, get people taking pictures and so that they can use it in, social media for about like, kind of like this podcast. We're selling Columbia, right? But here's an example of something fun that's happening.
What are the time? Like, what is there? I guess it's a set time every time, or like 1 to 3. Or
so we do 5 to 7.
Oh, okay.
The goal is that we do it during the time of year where 5 to 7 is not sweltering. This past weekend was a little bit of an exception. But to be honest with you, you're in the shade mostly,
That's good.
right? Which helps. That's part of the goal of the time period is the end of the day. we get shade because the sun sets behind the building.
Gotcha.
So that's part of the reason why we pick that. So yeah, we're doing Saturdays 5 to 7. Last 2 Saturdays in April, the first 2 Saturdays in May. And then we pick back up on September 10th, and we're going to do Thursdays in the fall.
Okay.
Because we had a conversation about football,
yes,
and realized
yes.
that we did not want to be doing concerts on football games.
Don't want to compete with
Right.
that.
And then, of course, Finley Park's got Friday night concerts. So we were like, so we'll make it a whole weekend. So we're going to do Thursday evenings. And then we had a big debate about the time. But we picked 5 to 7 because what we wanted people to do is be able to get off work, whether you get off at work at 5 or 5:30, whatever, but just swing by, pick up food, enjoy a little music on your way home. Because I think if you're like me, the second you get home, the chances of you leaving again,
out, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
go way down.
So weather delays just go inside, or
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So we've also scheduled it so that we can do the concerts inside if there's rain issues.
Okay, great.
Because a lot of the artists that we're bringing in, our goal with this is to pair a local artist as the opening act.
Oh, cool.
And then bring in somebody from out of town. But of course, if you're coming in from out of town, it's not so simple just to say, could you do this next weekend?
Right.
Instead?
I know.
Like they've got a whole
Delay.
tour schedule or
Yeah.
so yes, it is a rain or shine event, and we're not so worried about that because like a lot of times you go to a festival and the stage is covered, but you're standing
But
in the
you're
rain,
not, right.
and I'm like, you have to really want to see this
for
band
sure.
to stand in the rain.
For
Yes.
sure.
So our thought is like we'll just move everyone inside.
That's great.
That way, if it weather is questionable, even if it ends up not raining for the concert, if it's questionable, then
Yeah.
just come
you
out
pivot.
and you'll be inside where
sure.
it's air conditioned and dry.
Yeah. All right. So
concept.
that's awesome. And I'd like to find out either now or later how we can help support in that, because this is, I mean, music is her love language for sure. And,
Right.
Yes.
and sitting on a lawn and drinking beer is my love language. So I
Yes.
think I can
There you
figure
go.
this
Yeah,
out.
we're all in the same space.
Right. Good.
But yeah, let's talk about the Koger Center a little bit, because y'all are slammed busy.
Yeah.
I feel like you're always busy. Hell, my daughter's recitals are coming up there, I think, in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I gotta look at that. So
Yes, we're getting into recital season.
Oh,
so what are your, is there a seasonality to the Koger Center, or is it just wide open all the time?
Somebody was asking me when we had a couple of weeks off so they could do a maintenance project, and I said we've got 2 weeks off in August, and that's basically it. We do have cycles. Most performing arts centers follow a calendar, like not a calendar year, a school cycle. We're part of the University of South Carolina, so it of course makes perfect sense that we follow that cycle. So things really ramp up in September, October, and then we're very busy November, December, and then January is a little quieter, but then February, March, April, May are slammed. And it really, as a result of that, things have started to creep into June.
Dang.
Our last Broadway show of the season, Clue, is the first weekend in June, for example.
Yeah.
And so that's both of y'all, it's a question. Like there's like season tickets. Wasn't there like a season ticket for Broadway?
Yes.
That you could buy?
You can be a subscriber to Broadway.
Yeah.
That's happening right now.
Yes.
Okay.
I am just so proud of the Broadway series that comes through the Koger Center. I mean, I've grown up here my whole life, and the very first Broadway show I saw was Cats that came.
Okay.
I think I was in the 6th grade.
Yeah.
And my mind was just like, oh my gosh. Like I was just enamored with Broadway shows after that. And it took a while before they started coming back through Columbia. And I mean, the quality, I tell everybody, is like, as an adult now, I've actually been to see shows on Broadway.
Right.
And I am telling you, like, the level of talent that comes through these traveling shows is top notch. It is just like seeing a Broadway show.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Right. And you don't have to drive anywhere.
No, you don't. And I'm so excited when I go and it's packed out, and it's just to be able to take my children and my friends to see that caliber of show and that talent is just, it's a gift, I think.
When I grew up here as well. When I moved back, I got the classic Columbia thing. I'm sure everyone, you all, which is, you're so lucky to be in Columbia because you can go to Charleston and you can go to Charlotte and you can go to Greenville. And you're like, why do we have the all roads lead from Columbia mindset instead of all roads lead to Columbia mindset? But yes, my goal is to try to create a world in Columbia where you don't have to leave to have the things that you want.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great.
So yes, we have tried very hard to make the improvements the facility that are required in order to be able to host big shows, so that you don't have to go to Charlotte or Atlanta to see, that a show or to New
Of
York.
that caliber too.
Absolutely.
I was a little nervous when Lion King came because I was like, how are they going to do this? Because, part
Listen,
of that production is the animals coming down the aisle. And
yes, but listen,
you did the best you could.
I feel like
you did it.
We pulled it off.
You did it. Yes.
So like with Wicked, I've seen Wicked and Lion King there. How long does it take them to set up that stage? 'Cause that thing was crazy big.
Yeah, with the
So
dragon.
Wicked loads in on Monday morning. We're in from roughly 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Monday, and 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Tuesday, and then 8 to 5 on Wednesday, and the first show is Wednesday.
Wow.
2.5 days.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. That's
and
a lot.
then we loaded it out in just under 6 hours.
It's amazing how that works, isn't it?
Yeah. Just put it in a box.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it takes so long to set it up the next
Yes,
time.
13 tractor trailers.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Good. All right. So
Not all the shows are quite that big.
Right,
Sure.
right. That's
but
an
Wicked
elaborate
is-
stage.
At Lion King, similarly, is huge.
I would bet. Yes.
So what, you may not want to answer this, but like, what's the most weirdest or unique thing that the Koger Center has been used for? Like, I don't know, just off the wall. Maybe you won't think the Koger Center was used for.
I think right from the beginning, there was a sense of it being a space for the community. So while it branded itself as an art center, which it very much is, didn't want it to just be, touring shows or local arts organizations. We wanted people to be able to use it. So in the early days, before I started working there, the thing that I think probably is the oddest is we used to hold the state bodybuilding championships.
Ooh.
Yes.
I took that year off.
You
Sorry.
did.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies.
But we have, as you were talking about, your daughter is a dancer. So like we host lots of dance recitals. We used to host more high school graduations than we currently do because I think as high schools have gotten larger,
Yeah.
like we're just not big enough
enough,
to hold the number of students. But for example, the South Carolina Virtual Charter School has their graduation with us, which is in part because
Just a camera and a screen.
no, it's the one time
They all
the
come out
students
together,
get to
yeah.
come together. The whole of the 4 years, it's they come to the graduation.
But I've even been to some art shows, like gallery shows.
Right.
there.
So we very much the focus in naming the building was Koger Center for the Arts and not Koger Center for the Performing Arts. So we have a permanent art collection, and then we have actually 3 gallery spaces that we rotate art. And sometimes we take down the permanent collection and put up something. So right now we've got part of the permanent collection up. We've got a temporary collection of Laura Spong's work on the main floor. We've got our Nook Gallery, which is a partnership with Jasper Project, who put out Jasper Magazine. They have a number of spaces around town, so they co-curate that space. We have our main gallery, and then almost 6 months ago now, 8 months ago, Preach Jacobs was running Soul House on Lincoln Street, but decided that it wasn't worth the rent to continue paying the rent on the gallery and the Vista. And so he was like, I don't know what, like I'm gonna have to store all this in my, spare bedroom.
Yeah.
We're like, no, we'll put it up here. So we created a rotating gallery space that he helps curate. So we've got 3 rotating gallery spaces, permanent collection. So the visual art is a huge part of it. I mean, right from the beginning, it's always been part of the plan, but we've really sort of leaned into trying to support local visual artists in the same way that we've been supporting the local performing arts.
Very cool. How many seats is I never asked that question before.
2,256.
What's the worst seat in that? Is there like one seat, like don't ever hit that one?
No, I mean
Well, if you have to go to the bathroom, the worst seat is right in the middle.
So, in talking to the very first director of the building, he said that 50% of every planning meeting and planning the building was spent on the aisles versus no aisles.
Yes, I bet.
And then 50% of it was spent on everything else.
Right, yes.
The thing about no aisles, also known as continental seating, it's more common than you think. For example, the Peace Center in Greenville is also a continental seating house. What it does for you is it takes the best location, which is usually like near the center, and put seats there rather than putting aisles there. So instead of losing a whole bunch of seats,
Fair.
You have seats there. The other thing that it does is that it forces you to have more room between your knees and the seat back in front of you. So if you've ever been to a Broadway
That's
house,
true. Yeah,
you know that your knees press up against the seat, right? I mean, the reason for that is because the economics require you to have so many seats in the building. But the safety requirements require you to have more space between the seat. So you can like cross your legs, you can slouch, all of these things. So it creates a more comfortable seating environment. And then people always worry about how you get out in an emergency. But I always tell people that the
survival of the fittest.
No, it's when you have aisles.
That's my thought.
Whenever you have aisles, anytime you reach the aisle, you have a decision to make. Do you go right or left?
Right.
But in continental seating, every row is an aisle, so it doesn't. You go whether you go right or left, you hit an exit. So there's no confusion of I'm trying to get to the exit in the front, but the people on the row in front of me are trying to get the exit in the back, and you have these bottlenecks. All you do is follow the seats, and then you will end up in the lobby.
Yeah, right. That's a good point.
So in some respect, if it's pitch black and full of smoke and there's chaos, you can't help but end up in the lobby.
Yes.
Like there's no decision making. There's no people trampling you in the aisle. So in some ways it's much safer. Now, it does not solve the problem of the weak bladdered who in the middle of a show have to say, excuse me, pardon me, to like 35 of their closest friends to get out. That is the downfall. But the reverse is that you have there are no bad seats in the house because the furthest seat from the stage is about 108 feet. So in a lot of spaces like ours, you would either have to have a deeper auditorium or less room between you and the seat. You'd have to cram more rows into the same amount of space to make it economically viable. So,
and a quick plug for the membership packages is if you like your seats and you keep them, you really start to make friends with the people that sit around you. You know,
get assigned seats.
Yeah, you pay to keep your seats, and you can trade up. But I've had my same seats for 3 years now, and so
and you know the people around you,
you know
right?
the people around you
because you see them at every show.
The one guy that talks the whole time.
But you get to know them, and so then it's not as awkward when you're like, oh,
when you're
Sally's
like,
gotta
Harold,
go to the bathroom, move. You know, but
or Harold who talks the whole. You now know Harold's name,
like,
so you can
Harold,
be like,
zip it. Yeah, yeah.
How about cell phones? How much of a pain in the ass are those during? Like, why don't we you gonna get those little bags you have to put people's phones in?
Yeah,
I'll vote for that. I'll pay for some actually.
I've been to concerts like in other venues where the artist requires you to put your bag, phone in a bag.
Yeah.
There is a certain sense of like relief where you're like, I cannot check my messages during this concert.
It's the old lady behind me that's trying to videotape her daughter in the recital, but the damn light's on. And nobody tells her. And like, you just lit up the whole stage.
Now, I think in like the Broadway shows, people really behave themselves. I don't see cell phones out. Now, randomly you'll hear one ring and you're like, oh, shoot, Karen didn't turn her silence on, but I don't see them out like filming.
But the recital, it's a tough ask to say to people.
Yeah, put your phone on.
You've come here to see your granddaughter on stage for 17 seconds.
Looks like she's getting stung by jellyfish up there. Yeah.
Well, Dance Moms is a whole different podcast topic.
For sure.
Although I will say, controversially or not, when we stopped serving alcohol, the audience at the dance recitals got a whole lot nicer.
Oh, I bet. Oh, they got nicer.
To each other.
Oh.
Yeah. Well,
that's because they smuggled in their own.
Maybe.
I don't. Every once in a while, you're like, oh, when you're cleaning up afterwards, you're like, oh,
there you go.
Look at you. But,
Franzia box, a whole box of them.
How'd she get that in here?
But yes, that I hate to say it like that, but we did have on occasion some interesting conversations between the audience members about where, because those tend to be not assigned seating. So there's some like, I want to be here and whatever. And then people standing up to photograph and sit down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mary, what are you doing over there? And this whole thing. So, yes, the not serving of alcohol sometimes helps everyone work those differences out before they make it outside the room.
Right.
So, what would be one thing you'd love to see that come to the Koger Center that we don't currently have, or it's not on the docket? Like that would be awesome in the city.
Well, the thing that everyone asks me about, and I would be super excited to get to come in, even though it's not new at all, but we never got Phantom of the Opera. Phantom of the Opera is no longer in New York. It is going on tour. So I think that if we could finally get Phantom of the Opera, there's a whole generation of people who could stop asking me,
so
when are you going to get Phantom?
I've never seen it. Yeah.
Oh man, I'd be so excited.
So I think that would be a fun get, just because we weren't technically capable of hosting it when it was on tour before. Now that we've made a bunch of upgrades, it's interesting. The big shows like Wicked will come through and they will talk about, we're going to use these Phantom points because Phantom required people to put in. It opened up a whole rigging world to other shows.
Right.
So they often refer to the things like, oh, we'll use the Phantom points for this or whatever. And you're like, we haven't had Phantom before. And they're like, oh.
Oh, no. But now we're ready.
Right. So I think that would be a fun one to get. But I also feel like what I would like to see, it's happening. It hasn't made it to the Koger Center, is there's a whole generation of artists who, where the audience no longer wants to stand at their concerts. Do you know what I mean? Like when we were younger, you know, you were like general admission, everyone's standing room only, you're like crushing to the front to see how close you can get.
Right.
And so now sometimes people are thinking to themselves, I would just like to sit for this concert. I know that this is a heavy metal band, but I'm not sure I want to stand the whole time.
Right.
So there's some aging artists and aging audiences that are looking more for a curated theater style, you know, production, a quieter take on their greatest hits. So I would like to see us be able to host some artists like that, because the acoustics in the space are particularly good. And I think that I'll use Alice Cooper as an example. We had Alice Cooper at the Koger Center.
Okay.
And Alice Cooper went out with a very theatrical show. So every song had its own like set change, set piece, costume thing. And he was specifically touring to theaters that like Broadway style theaters because he knew that they would be able to accommodate the visuals.
Sets,
Wheelchairs, lots of wheelchairs.
So like I think that kind of, you know, more theatrical show rather than doing the big arena things. I think a lot of people maybe stopped wanting to do the big arena show on tour.
For sure.
Just want to sit down.
Yeah. And I think the audiences might go, oh, like these are comfortable seats. Like, maybe we don't have to, like we could stand at the end, but maybe we don't have to stand the whole time. So I'd love to see some sort of more artistic kinds of shows from popular bands coming through. I think that would be fun.
Oh, I would be into that for sure.
Who's the rudest? I'm just kidding. Who's the rudest musicians ever come through there? Only wanted green M&Ms in their bowl or something.
Oh,
just kidding.
Well, so we like to ask people, especially since you're from Columbia, like, you know, a lot of people that watch this podcast are not living here yet, and they're thinking about it. Sure, so if somebody came to you and said, all right, we're coming to Columbia for a weekend, you feel free to pick the season, what would you tell them they should do? Like a perfect weekend.
We'll pick a show at the Koger Center, obviously.
Of course.
We have something going on almost every weekend. So if you're coming for the weekend, there's a good chance there's something happening. We do a ton of stuff. So it's not always Broadway, but we've got the ballet. We've got a couple of ballets, a couple of symphonies that perform. The School of Music does performances. The Department of Theater and Dance, they often bring in a professional company to do dance. We just had the Lamone
I was there
company,
for that, yes.
right, come through. So there's always something to do with the Koger Center. I think that's the first thing that I would have to say, right?
Sure, of course.
We're contractually required to say that. But the nice thing about Columbia that I think that a lot of people overlook in terms of arts and culture is that we have both a zoo and an art museum.
Yes.
And I come to realize that, like, states often have one zoo. So the fact that there's one zoo in South Carolina is not abnormal.
Yeah.
But being in the middle of the state, we're lucky that the zoo is here, and it is a nationally recognized zoo, and it's really an excellent opportunity that we forget that we have. Right. Well, you think, oh, the zoo's there, but for a lot of people, there isn't a zoo.
Correct.
Right.
And then we have like a really great art museum. So I think those are two things that you don't want to miss that are unique to Columbia. And then we're really starting to take advantage of the Three Rivers.
Correct.
for such a long time,
I know.
it was just like, oh, there's a river somewhere.
Uh-huh.
You're like, it's
Yeah.
great.
They're like two that become one, and I don't know.
But I think the greenway, like the walking, Riverfront Park and all of the trails, that kind of thing, is a great way to get outside. It's always cooler there, regardless of how famously hot it is.
Yes.
It's always cooler down by the river. And it is a year-round activity that you can do, is to go down by the river. Some people, I have done it.
Uh-huh.
I've
What
done
have
it
you done?
recently.
Oh.
Well, you get in the tube and
Oh,
you
yeah.
float,
You
right?
float the river.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
So
so
like,
fun.
Or an air mattress if you're a little
Whatever
hard to forget.
floats.
Yeah.
So, but so you can go that route, canoe, kayak, John boat, fish, the tube, but you can also just bike ride, walk,
Right.
etc. So I think taking advantage of the river system, and then we also have parks
Oh yeah.
to spare. So how often do you get to live so close to a national forest? So we've got Congaree, we've got the Harbison State Forest here.
Which is really
Got Sesqui.
a lot of top.
We've got Sesquicentennial, which is, I remember as a kid always wanting to go out there, and my mother being like, it's so far,
Yeah.
right? Because this is pre I-77.
Right.
And then now when I'm
too
driving
much.
home from like out of town and I hit Sesqui, I'm like, we're
Oh,
home!
I know. Yeah.
That's funny.
Because I know that, like, we'll be home in just minutes.
That's right. That's right.
So there are the parks, like the major parks. I mean, there's obviously neighborhood parks. I think Columbia does a good job of having neighborhood parks. It seems like every major neighborhood has its own local park.
At least one, maybe two or three.
Right. So, but the major parks are something that I don't. Bigger cities may have them, but you have to like really travel to get there.
Right.
Yeah.
So the idea of Sesqui's so far away when we were kids, but like in a lot of places, it's we'll take an hour drive to the major park, but here. You can
Right
go. You have options.
Yes.
That are far less than an hour's drive.
Did y'all put in for the lottery of the fireflies, down at the?
No, I haven't.
That's
but it's
smart
on
they're
my
doing it.
bucket list.
Can I tell you the secret?
Yeah.
The secret is to be a volunteer
Ooh.
at the
Yeah.
national park, and then as a volunteer at the national park, they will offer you the opportunity to volunteer for the fireflies.
All right. All right. You
'Cause
heard
it's
Art of Real Estate.
I've gone
We're
a couple
going to
times.
volunteer.
It was a cluster. I mean, it's not. It's just the infrastructure wasn't meant to hold.
No,
that.
and still isn't, because it's just a
It's just a little
it's just a
swamp.
natural forest that they
Yeah.
haven't done anything with,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like so the parking
Yeah.
is challenging, so that's why they have to limit it, because there really is not enough parking. But yes, so several times we have gone and either like I've stood on the. Sometimes you're standing on the road, like directing traffic, in order to make sure that no one gets run over. But then sometimes early in the season, you can come out and you'll do the surveys. Like they do research, so you'll go out and try to count like.
Count the fireflies?
No, the synchronicity. So you'll go out and run your timer and then fill out like, do you see synchronicity or not? So you'll run like a 5-minute timer and you'll try to like see like, do you and is it like, they give you some talk about like what is none versus a little bit versus
Now they're all going
sporadic
together. Yeah.
versus like the real thing.
Yes.
Because they go into a season, so they're trying to figure out, they're looking at temperature and
Right.
humidity and all these things, but they want somebody to tell them like, did you see synchronicity or not? At different times of the year. So that's actually more fun than getting there at peak season. Where it's really going is because you're out in the dark, like alone. It is dark.
Dark in a swamp.
In a swamp, and then and there are fireflies everywhere. And then you start to go like, oh, like there's a small cluster going right. I'm marking it down.
Right.
That's a lot of fun.
That does sound fun. All right. Well, good little inside tip.
Yeah, I did a camping trip one time via canoe or kayak through the park, and we stayed over one night.
Yeah.
But it just so happened to be during fireflies. So I woke up, and then all of a sudden the entire forest is
Having a stroke.
yeah, it was just blowing up. And I was like, what is happening? It was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
You didn't know.
No.
Because that's how you learn.
Yeah, we didn't put in at the norm. Like you put in on one end and go to the other. So you don't really go to the welcome center.
Right.
And it just, maybe it was the beginning of the season, but it was, I mean, you're right. There's no lights out there. And then all of a sudden the whole forest just starts beaming. It was pretty cool.
So we're blessed with a lot of really fun outdoorsy things to do,
Yeah.
as well as culturally interesting.
Yeah. and I know people make fun and it does get hot here, right? But I would say that's just a small percentage of the season. Most of the time, our climate is very tolerable. You can be outside almost year round.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, like all of the times when your friends in the Northeast are moaning,
Yeah.
and you're like, we're in shorts and
That's
t-shirts
right.
down
Yeah.
here.
No snow here. Right. But when it gets too hot, you go inside to the Koger Center.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. I think it's part of the success we've had with pushing events into June is I sort of like, it starts to get hot in June, but it is the same temperature inside.
Yeah. That's right. All the time. That's right. Yeah.
So you could come and do things inside, just like you do in February.
Right.
You could do them in June
In
too.
June as well. That's right.
That's
Yeah.
smart.
So, okay, thinking outside of the Koger Center, but like
Yes.
if you had a magic wand and you could, like, money was no issue, topography was no issue, but you could bring anything to Columbia, anything, whether it's an Apple store or a
yes.
professional sport, like if you could bring anything into Columbia, what would you like to see?
Oh boy.
You can do two.
Mine's a Ben and Jerry's. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Just-
No,
I'm just
have
kidding.
They
I guess
just
we don't
they
have
broke
to-
up.
Oh, did they? Oh,
Yeah.
Is it now
RIP.
just Jerry's?
I think so. Mhm.
Damn it, Ben.
I know.
I was just kidding.
Been retired.
Okay, so I'm going to think big.
Okay. Yes,
So
please.
what I would like to see is that we have a lovely infrastructure in place with the Midlands Technical College.
Okay.
Okay.
And what I would like to see that I think would revolutionize Columbia is for them to put a culinary school as a part of Midlands Technical College.
Ooh,
Yeah.
now
Because
we're
what you
talking.
get out of that
Yes.
are chefs who stay here and open fascinating restaurants.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Food
instead of
trucks.
just saying, "Oh, I love this restaurant. I
Yeah.
would like it to be here,"
Yeah.
I think what we would really benefit from was a training ground because we've got a technical college
Yeah.
Yeah.
in place.
Yeah.
Like, could we get a piece of that to be
Yeah.
a culinary institute, and then what you get are a bunch of great restaurants that are independent, that aren't chain.
Yeah.
Going, and even the ones that currently exist that are awesome
Yeah.
have turnover,
Right.
and you would be able to then have well-trained
cool.
people
Right.
step in and
Yeah.
and either keep them at the amazing level they are, or
Yeah.
even step them up. I think that if I had to pick one thing,
Mhm.
that's
That's a
what
good
I
one.
would like to see.
That was deep. You already
I
got
like
it figured
that
out.
one. Yes. I support that one.
Yeah.
So I lived in Louisville, Kentucky. They have a culinary school, and the restaurants in Louisville are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a bigger city,
Sure.
Yeah.
but it is no end of amazing restaurants there.
Right.
And it's like even the ones that people are like, oh, it's fine,
Uh-huh.
are really good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And I think Columbia's got a really good food scene. So I
Yes.
feel like we would be positioned well.
Absolutely.
It's like people wouldn't come out of culinary school and be like, now what?
Yeah, there's nothing to
You
do.
know, yeah.
I think it would help the existing restaurants really step up to the next level because the whole kitchen would be fantastic.
Fantastic,
And then
yeah.
every time something closes, you'd be able to go, like, is it going to be a Zaxby's or is it going to be like,
Yeah.
Oof, right. Yeah.
you know,
High-end
the next
Zaxby's.
the next James Beard
Right.
award-winning restaurant,
For
right?
sure.
Yeah.
And it doesn't all have to be fine dining. Like
Mhm.
what's really great about people coming out of something like that is that you get fantastic street food places
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know
A little bit of everything. Yeah.
all sorts of things. So it doesn't have to be just you need another restaurant where you're going to spend $100 on a meal.
Uh-huh.
It can very much be, we focus on 3 kinds of grilled cheese sandwiches,
Yes.
and they are all the best
Amazing.
thing you've
Yeah.
ever eaten.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah. Fair
like,
enough.
that's what I want.
That's
I want to
right.
be able to go, when I want grilled cheese, I go to the grilled
the
cheese
best-
place.
the
And
best
when
grilled
when I
cheese.
want dumplings, I go to the dumpling place for like
right.
amazing dumplings.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Okay.
So
great.
that's what I would love to see.
That's
That's a good
awesome.
one. That is a good one.
Well, Nate, thanks for sharing all this.
Yeah.
And
Is that it?
Yeah, was there
You don't- you
anything
don't- you don't
else?
care if no.
Yeah,
I
what-
was
what you
what
wanna
else you want to
share? Yeah.
say? Was there anything else? Well, before we end, was there
Oh.
anything else
No, I don't know.
that you wanted to share about the Koger Center or anything up and coming? I see they're renovating bathrooms.
We're
All
adding
the ladies
some
are good to. We're all happy to hear that.
right. We're adding some bathrooms. We've really done a push recently to try to become more accessible to people with disabilities, as in needs. And one of the things that we're realizing with an aging population, there are people who aren't disabled but
Right.
start to have more needs, different needs than they
yeah.
did when they were younger.
Right.
So we're trying to create some additional bathroom space because listen, no matter how many bathrooms a building has, it's never enough.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're adding bathrooms that are more accessible and allow for people who might, so they're independent standalones.
Gotcha.
So that because what we're starting to see is people get older, sometimes like a husband and wife will need to go to the bathroom together
Yeah.
for what,
Whatever
not asking
reason.
questions,
Yeah.
but and so like when you have men's room and women's room, that's challenging. But if you have like a standalone family bathroom or people with kids,
Sure.
Yeah.
see people with 3
Yes.
kids and then like one parent, 3
Right.
kids, different genders.
Yeah, it's like,
they have to
where
pick
do
a
we go?
room.
Right.
So now they can just all go or send them in one at a time to the single bathroom. So that's something that we're putting in, but we're also through that just trying to look at the accessibility issues of a building that was built pre-ADA
Yeah.
and try to make sure that
True.
people can get into the building, get to seating, all of those kinds of things, so that the experience starts before the curtain goes up.
Right.
So you want to make sure as people arrive that they have a good experience right from the beginning. I wish that we could, we had a massive parking lot like we did before they built the Darla School of Business.
Yeah.
Right.
Where we were like, you can just park right across the street.
Yeah,
But progress sometimes creates challenges that need to be overcome. So, if I could wave my magic wand, I would have an escalator put in so you could get from the Park Street and the parking garage
Yeah.
All the way.
to the plaza level, and you wouldn't have to walk all of those stairs.
Right.
That's entirely possible, but more expensive than I possibly thought.
Well, yeah, that's the kicker, right?
I had a whole conversation with somebody about it, and they were like, "Oh, that'll be easy." And then they started to talk about costs, and I was like, "Well, then now I see why."
With all those zeros, no, it's not. Yeah.
So those are some things that we're trying to put into place, and also really through that try to make sure that we have programming that everyone can enjoy.
Yeah.
I think that in general, arts organizations are across the board rethinking who their patrons are. So you may think to yourself, like, people who have disabilities don't come, but maybe that's in part because we're not reaching out to them. So if you've had visual impairment problems, the symphony is a thing that you can enjoy.
Sure. That's a good point.
Just as much, right? If not maybe more so than the average person. So like, what can we do to make sure that people are aware that we can talk to members of that community to say, like, what would you need to make it easy to access us, so that we're not leaving out sections of the population, not just mobility issues, but also people who have other different, issues that they may think, oh, well, this is going to be a problem. Like, how do we make sure that we're creating a landscape in the whole city of Columbia? Art Museum has done a great job of trying to open themselves to everyone, and we're just trying to keep up with that concept, make sure that people feel welcome.
Yeah, everybody can enjoy art, right?
That's right.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was fun, Nate. Thanks for
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, like, you are literally you and your organization are bringing the culture, like the actual culture, to Columbia. So there's a lot of things to go and do, but like, this is the like real culture part of it.
Yes, I feel like if you're going to move to any city, you want to know that there are things to do, regardless how good the job is, how lovely the house is.
Right. Yes.
There's still going to want to be things that you do that aren't at home, and so I think Columbia is poised to really show off those offerings. I think we're just one part of that, but there's plenty of things to do, and not just drive to another city to do them in.
Yes, that's helpful.
So we're going to keep after it, and hopefully we'll see more people want to share in the bounty that Columbia has to offer.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate it all, and we appreciate all the events and the concerts and the plays and everything that brought there. It's fun for us. So we'll put all in the show notes the calendar and the events coming up, and obviously the website, so people can go figure it out. But thanks for all you do. Seriously, we really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.